AJ, Nico Iamaleava has joined a new team. He's going to be going back to Southern California and playing for UCLA. Oh. Congratulations. You know, we didn't know how this was going to work because there was a lot of people saying that maybe the reputational damage or maybe the drama was going to maybe hold him away from a lot of different schools. You know, Tulane was being talked about at one point. A lot of people were like, Nico Iamaleava is going to play for Tulane. No offense to Tulane, but you understand how this whole thing goes. Then we were hypothesizing yesterday, maybe he goes back to Tennessee. Maybe they go shake hands and say, hey, we made a mistake here. Mm-hmm. We had a miscalculation. We had a misread. We're all very new to this situation. There's not a lot of rules, not a lot of guidelines. This was inevitable. We just happened to be the first big name to do it, yada, yada, yada. And they go back to Tennessee because Tennessee also doesn't have a quarterback. Instead, what Colin Cowherd reported yesterday, obviously he's based out of Los Angeles, is that he's hearing that Nico's going back to UCLA, and then other people confirmed the report that he's going back to UCLA, back home to Southern California, for less money than what he would have made at Tennessee is what's being said, but at least he's closer to home, and he's in the Big Ten.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, local kid, maybe he's able to do with UCLA what Shador, Travis were able to do both at Jackson State and at Colorado. Maybe he's able to bring some buzz. Maybe he's able to bring a little bit of juice, and maybe he's able to continue his career and his growth so that we can see him in the football world for a long time at UCLA. We're happy you found a home. That's all I would like to say. Now, could West Virginia got in you?
Maybe.
We got quarterbacks. We got guys. I don't even tell you about Scotty Fox. Okay. Mm-hmm. Kid out of Ohio. You know who this kid is?
I know of him, yeah. Of course.
Got long hair. I guess they call him Sunshine.
Oh, he might be the next dude.
He's supposed to be in high school. He was at West Virginia. He's one of the first guys that would go to West Virginia, like skip the spring semester.
Not reclassified, but yeah, graduate early.
Yeah. And they said the boys gravitate to old Scotty Fox. They say we got Nico Paisano.
The real Nico.
Over there. A lot of Nico talk today. A lot of Nico Collins, Nico Harrison, Nico Iamaleava, Nico Paisano. There's a lot of Nicos out there. Great name, by the way. Nico is a great name. And then obviously the transfer from Texas A&M quarterback. We got a lot of good quarterbacks in West Virginia. So whenever I said yesterday we'd love to have Nico there, that wasn't because I thought anybody was bad. But I like that Nico has a home. And he's in the Big Ten, so he's still going to be playing big-time football. A lot of travel for him, but he's back in Southern California. What are your thoughts on how it all turned out, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. We watched him firsthand against Ohio State. The guy is tough as nails, so I have a ton of respect for how he plays. And we know how good he is. This guy can be an unbelievable quarterback. I think he's just scratching the surface on what he's going to be. But, yeah, going back home, UCLA, if he can bring them, I don't know if you're going to say bring them back to the glory days, but bring them, bring some juice to UCLA.
Relevancy.
Yeah, some more relevancy and some more people. We know it's a big old stadium they play in, and they're trying to fill up every single time they play. So I think it works out for him. I'm glad he got somewhere so quick. Was this all along? What's the whole no contact thing that these guys enter the portal?
I don't know. And who knows if that's real? Yeah. Who knows what's real and what isn't real? We don't know. But he's going to have to go to Iowa at some point, over the next couple of years. And, the Hawkeyes going to be able to handle Nico Iamaleava coming into the Big Ten? I don't know. We shall see.
Yeah, it's interesting because UCLA, they're not exactly, powerhouse when it comes to football. Everybody knows that. But the weird thing that I like.
Girls soccer.
Softball. They got a great softball team. Their basketball team is solid. Their women's basketball team is solid. So they've been a great addition to the Big Ten, no question. But a lot of the talk around it was that money was part of it, but it was Tennessee's offense. I don't know if that just got squeezed in there. And UCLA has a first-time OC, so I don't know if it kind of seems like, because I agree. I'm glad that this is over and done with, and he found a spot, and he doesn't have to go the next 3 weeks with getting his name dragged through the mud. But it seems like they did kind of just maybe realize oh wow, this is going to get very bad very quickly. Let's see if UCLA is interested. And UCLA, obviously, you get a guy like this. I mean, there's a chance that they could contend in the Big Ten. I don't know if they're going to win the Big Ten next year, but this certainly doesn't hurt them. I mean, like I mentioned yesterday, 99% of teams in college football, I think, would look at their current quarterback situation and say we'd take Nico Iamaleava.
Big Ten stuff.
Yes.
Tough.
You got a lot of big-time players in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Oregon, obviously, on the West Coast in the Big Ten. People forget about that, I still think. And they are the ones that win. Penn State is Ohio State, Michigan.
Iowa. SC is in UCLA's backyard. They're in the Big Ten.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough to just win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to even be great in the Big Ten. But UCLA was a complete afterthought. And now, I think Nico brings them some relevancy. And I'm happy all parties have kind of, to your point, we move on.